And here we are, another live show. Things are looking good. Hello everybody. And looks great here. And we are ready for a new show. Hello everyone. Welcome aboard. This is the Live Tech Show. We're at number 104 for Tuesday, January the 30th, 2018. We're here every Tuesdays at 3 p.m. Eastern. That's 2000 hours Universal Time to answer your questions and to talk about technology. There's a great chat room for those that want to join in, so just check it out, and hope that everybody is well. I am much better after a full week of very complicated flu time. Nice to be back. Nice to have you on board. Hello everyone. Tim Robinson, Miss Lady Catherine, David Walker. We have Albert Zappa, Douglas Elliott. We have Bobby Burgess, and we have, who else that I've not seen? Mr. Volts. Nice to have you here. Homer. Nice to have you here. What else? What else? Anybody say hello, please, if I missed your name. Always nice to have all of you here. Shervin Abdullah from Denmark. Nice to have you here. Yeah, feeling much better. Still under the slightly under the influence, and I will drink probably a lot today because of my throat that after just a few minutes is scratchy and wants to cough. Hello there, Christine Bowman. Nice to have you on board. Brian Wilson. Nice to have you here too. And it's nice to have all of you here, as we will, of course, talk about technology. Cycler 39, Rick Sadar. Nice to have you here. It's cool to have all of you on board. So we missed a week last week of shows, of every show, basically. Patrick Manny, hello there. Nice to have you here. So this is the show about technology that we have every week. Of course, your help is always something that is very useful. Without your donations, I would not have been here and would not have been able to continue. So you can send your donations through PayPal at paypal.com/shortwave. You can also send your donations at through Patreon and join 8 patrons that right now are actually giving me a little something every month. Patreon.com/radio and computers, and PayPal is probably the best. But hey, your donations have helped tremendously, and thanks for everybody that donated, and especially reaching out to those that enjoy the shows and never donated with time. So it's nice to be back. It's nice to have all of you here. So what do we have in technology this week? Well, first of all, we have updates for 2 browsers in the past 2 weeks. We had an update for Firefox, so the second version of Firefox Quantum browser came out. We have an update for Google Chrome browser version 64. What's mostly important, I would say, with the updates of the browsers is the fact that because the processor security flaw that we all have is kind of not fixed for the most part, what's happening is that we got to rely on other ways to kind of stay safe, and the browsers are what are helping out right now in staying safe. So both Firefox and Google Chrome, the major fixes that I would say are important in there is the fact that they actually help prevent somewhat the possibility of us getting hacked or getting bitten by the Spectre and Meltdown security flaws that we have. Meltdown is not a problem because your Windows operating systems are all patched. The biggest problem is Spectre. Spectre, which is Intel pushed a patch, the patch is buggy, Microsoft removed the patch, so we're still without a patch and we're still vulnerable with Spectre because Intel is just doing a crappy job at updating us right now. So anyways, we'll keep up to date, and we're going to talk a little bit about it. Got a few questions later on that people are asking. I mean, Spectre and Meltdown are causing a lot of questions for a lot of users. So we're going to check that out for sure. Cool Tech, hello there, nice to have you here. And so basically, check out the latest browsers. One of the things that kind of made me a little, I don't know, we're talking about sometimes too many updates, and we were talking, at some point about Windows having too many updates. I sometimes wonder if browsers aren't having too many updates. I mean, come on, do we really need 15 browser updates per year? It's kind of complex here. Hello there, Sheriff's House. Nice to have you on board. So I don't know. Anyways, apart from that, they're kind of really. It's very, very. There's nothing extraordinary with each new version of the browsers. They add these little things here and there. It's like, very small updates and very small things, making it a little difficult, honestly. So, I don't know. Maybe they should update less and have maybe more interesting things in it. So, anyways, it's one of those things. Bobby says, is it really hard to redo the microcode in processors? The problem is, I think Intel did the microcode too fast and probably didn't see some of the negative aspects that it probably had on some systems. You gotta, just remember that these run over on a lot of machines and different configurations. So, the microcode that Intel pushed actually creates tons of reboots to machines that were updated. So much that actually Microsoft itself said, oh, what the hell? We're going to issue an update to remove that because it's just too bad. And it's sad because both the code, the Spectre code and the Meltdown code, are unfortunately, to fix the problem, kind of puts us in a, in a way of, really kind of disabling features that make our computers run faster. So both fixes actually kill performance, and I see it right here on this PC. I mean, it did kill performance at some point, and it's sad because it's something that you got a darn PC. So Walt says, one of my hosters' Hypervision crashed, rebooted due to Intel updates. So, I think they, it's a big mess. It's a big mess, I have to say. Because, not only everything is wrong, and we're going to talk a little bit more about it, but, I mean, come on, you push an update that's buggy. I think you should have been careful with that one. Brian Wilson, what's my opinion of the Opera browser? I actually like it, and I'm going to talk a little bit about it because we have someone that has a question concerning the Opera browser. I actually like the Opera browser. Honestly, if I choose a browser to start working with, I would personally like. Probably use the Opera browser a lot. You want to come over? We have Mr. Paul that wants to say hello to everybody. Hello, come on. Hey. And here we have Mr. Cat saying hello to everyone. So here's Mr. Cat saying hello. There we go. Say hi to the camera. Hey, camera's here. Say hi. He's got his little medal. Got a little medal now, and he's even got a little pirate cat necklace here. So anyways, it's just a lot of fun to have Paul say hi to everybody. And so, anyways, we're going to talk more about all of these for sure. As for the Opera browser, like I said, I kind of like Opera. I've used it enough to find that it is interesting. I really like the fact that it has a built-in VPN. which actually is cool because you can turn it on and you're immediately, you know, your IP's change from somewhere else. It's very, very nice. I would say that, you know, I use Edge, and for the sync possibilities that Chrome offers, I use Chrome when I don't use Edge. But you know, if I could do everything and really have the possibilities to do and sync everything, personally, I think I'd like maybe I'd like to use Opera more. I think it would be my favorite browser. Opera is a very, very, very nice browser, honestly, and I really, really like it. So it's kind of cool. So everybody's saying hello. Everybody's saying hello. He's the only one that's not sick. So, oh man, Netscape Navigator. I remember using Netscape. That was that thing. I even remember when Netscape was not free and you had to buy a browser to go on the web. Things have changed, really, really. Mr. Ramkin, nice to have you on board. I saw a question at the beginning of just before the show started, by the way, about the YouTube channel. Can you do another YouTube channel when you? Here's the thing. Just to answer quickly, if it depends, okay, it depends on why your channel got removed. If it's got removed because you posted content that is not something you should have posted on YouTube, technically you're banned from YouTube forever, and you're not allowed to come back, and you're not allowed to create other accounts. Now, of course, you can create accounts on false names and whatever, but if it was because you violated one of the basic rules of YouTube, forget it. You're not allowed to have a new channel. But if you want to open a channel, you can open one and just create a new Gmail and a new channel and just, you know, start over. But starting over today is kind of complex on YouTube, especially with the new rules of 1,000 subs before you can monetize. That is something. I gotta say, I get regularly people saying, you know, going crazy. I'm coming to your question, Sheriff's House. I have it saved here for the Opera browser. Well, I can answer it right now. It's not in the questions list anyway. So that's simply because they moved the default. That's it. But if you go into your Opera browser on the upper left, and if you click on the VPN logo that's in the address bar, you can choose North America, you can choose wherever you want to be. So if you want to come back to Canada or US, go on the upper left and click on the VPN logo you see in the left of the address bar, and there you will actually be able to choose, because by default it's at optimal location, but if you click there, you say I want to go Americas, it should technically change it to Americas. Let me just check it out here, because I just opened mine and I'm just curious. Huh, that is interesting, because Europe, wherever okay, Americas. If I choose Americas, and if let me shut it down and bring it back up just for the fun of it. So where am I right now? Oh, you're kind of right. That is interesting. Where am I? Where am I? Huh. That's an interesting one. They did. It's their VPN is broken. Huh. For more accurate results, change in settings. Huh. I am taking a look at it right now, and you're right. It's keeping the IP address at 77 dot something. That is an interesting one. Why did they do that? That's a good question. Now I don't know exactly. It seems that there's something going on, because I'm looking at it here, and that's kind of interesting. It's kind of interesting. I'll try to find an answer to that, Sheriff's House, I have to say, because now I'm surprised. It doesn't change. It changes the IP slightly when you choose, North America or, Europe or whatever, but that is interesting. It really doesn't change much. So, Atul Sharma, I've got no freezing at all personally on my insider build. So it depends on, with insider builds, it depends on each machine, honestly. Mine works fantastically well in general. Just a slow boot time, but apart from that, I have no freeze up or anything. Yeah, well, actually, it is weird because it doesn't it's very, very bizarre. They must have had to change their VPN, the way they do the VPN stuff. I'll try to find an answer to that, and if I do, I'll let you know, Sheriff's House. Huh, interesting. Apart from that, what do we have in the news? We have that guy. So, guy walks up to a bar. No, that's not a story. Guy walks up to the Apple store in China and says, "Hey, I want to change my iPhone battery." And now, I've never heard of somebody being able to discover if the battery is a fake or a real thing by biting on it. But anyway, he bites the battery, and that big ball of light here is actually the explosion of the battery happening about 30 seconds after he bit the battery and put it back down. So it's kind of funny. I have to say I find it funny. And so the story is, I guess, don't bite any batteries, because it's not a good idea. It's just crazy. Really, really crazy. And I mean, come on, did he really bite that hard? Really that hard? It's just crazy. I mean, come on. It's one of those funny stories of the week. Oh, the European Union is getting tough. Gigabyte, Brian. Don't make me laugh. It makes me cough. Gigabyte. I like that. So, anyways, the European Union getting tough with its new privacy rules that will be enforced on May the 25th. And it's actually driving a lot of people crazy from what I see. The first part, it's driving people crazy because I've seen that a lot of, first of all, in the insider preview, for those that have seen it, we have, of course, the diagnostics data viewer. We can now see, or at least see, the garbage that's inside that data file, and kind of wonder why Microsoft pushes that side enough that we actually want to see. So it's kind of interesting. And also, it's pushing Facebook, it's pushing tons of companies to completely redo the privacy settings, just because after May the 25th, the European Union is going to be really tough, and if you're not really clear with people's data and what you do with it, you're going to get big fines. So it's like every company is kind of scrambling, scrambling to go and do whatever it needs to meet the demand of the European Union. So, I'm not a big fan of European Union most of the times, the decisions. I find a lot of the decisions are kind of going after US companies mostly. A lot of what I've seen, not all the time, and let's face it, there are a few things I understand. Basically, that there are anti-competitive things, like the Google stuff with the ads and everything, it's there's grounds to why there are fines, but a lot of what's happening with the European Union seems to just going after the big US companies and making billions, But it's kind of this one I kind of like. I mean, if you can do regulations that force companies to really become more, help the user more with the privacy options and settings and everything, I think it's not a bad idea to have that for sure. Apple. A few things about Apple that I want to talk today about. I know it's not a big. You guys are not big fans of Apple news, but I like to dabble the Apple news a little bit because some of you have Apple products, even though you have PCs, and there's a side of Apple that I kind of enjoy, still knowing a little bit about what's happening. The first thing, of course, we learned today that the iPhone X production, half of what they wanted to do, so they're going to make 20 million instead of 40 million iPhone Xs, kind of showing that a lot of people don't want to buy the iPhone X. And one of the biggest things that's happening is actually which Apple is finding, is that people go on the iPhone 8 or iPhone 7 because they're less expensive, and they just do the damn job they want, and aren't interested in giving away $1,000, $1,200, or $1,500 for a phone. So I think that shows that maybe we've reached a certain limit. There's a certain level of price that I think people are like, are you crazy? $1,000 for a phone? I'm not sure I want to pay that, and I totally understand why. I personally get my phone subsidized by the carrier. So basically, it's just, what's happening. And so it's just crazy. Paying really, really a high, price for a phone. I'm not, I wouldn't pay. I paid, my Galaxy S7 cost me $250 up front. If I'd go to $300 or $400, I'm okay. I would go to $300 to $400. I would not pay $1,000. I would not pay $1,000 for a phone. That is out of the question, and I think the iPhone X is showing us that maybe, even for Apple standards, because if one company is actually really capable of selling $1,000 phones, is Apple, and it's not, so yeah, but that's still called subsidized. It's subsidized by the carrier. So it's like you pay for it. I mean, at the end of my contract, I'm totally aware that I did pay probably $1,000 for the S7. I still paid that amount. I think it's all a question of upfront how much you want to do it. It's not a question necessarily of the $1,000 for the phone. If the people is really, you know, are not upfront having to pay a really huge amount, they go for it. I mean, even though, you know, my carrier charged me every month for, you know, at the end I paid the full amount. I did pay the full amount. The carriers don't give you the phone, but they just, you know, kind of make you pay for it monthly. That's for sure. So interesting, Brian. I have no problems with the the battery on my S7. Yeah, nobody pays its phone up front in North America, Volts. No one. No one gives $1,000 or 500 or 7 or 8 or 900. Everybody gets their phone subsidized here by the carrier. It's a North American thing. I absolutely never saw anyone actually pay up front for his phone. It doesn't work like this here. People don't want to see the price, or don't want to, you know, people here in North America, they just want to, you know, you still pay for it, but they just don't want to give away $800 like this and get a phone. Here it's, you know, okay, that phone is free. That's what I'm getting. And actually, 80% of people are getting a phone here with the carrier, okay, are not getting the latest phones. They're getting the ones that are free. And when I say free, it's a joke, because it's not free. And basically, it's you pay for it. It's just that they give you. You got a problem with your phone, Brian. Battery does not last 3 hours on a S7 Edge. There's really something you're doing. You checked everything, Brian, including all the apps that drain your battery and everything, because I can tell you, look, it's 2 years old now, okay, and I can tell you that even in heavy usage, if I use it a lot, I get at least a good 6 to 7 hours. And that's because I use it a lot and my screen brightness is very high. So I'm really wondering why your battery can't last longer than 3 hours, Brian. It's very weird. Very weird. It's very weird. So anyways, here 90% of people buy what's free, which is not free because they pay it with their contract. And in reality, they probably pay $400, $500, $600 for the phone, anyways. But people don't want to give out the cash. It's like that here. It's not a thing about math, Volts. It's a thing that people just don't want to. You know, it's a question of just having the impression that it's free. You know. You still get screwed. You still pay for it. Absolutely. But here it's totally that. I can tell you, if I look at, you know, all of my friends that have a smartphone, they all took the offer of, oh, that one's for $0 with a 2-year contract. And after the 2-year contract, they probably paid $400 or $500 for it. But it was monthly through that amount that they give the carrier. And because they don't see it, it's okay like that. And the carriers are, of course, really happy because they can screw you really big time. You know, they don't have to tell you. For example, the carriers don't tell you at the end you have paid this amount. Actually, here it's really, really complex. If I look at my cell phone carrier bill, you don't know how much of my amount every month is going to pay my phone. You kind of have no idea, really. They're not letting you know how much you're actually giving to the phone and how much is for the service. It ain't detailed. They're just saying, oh, you're paying this amount for that internet, that minutes and whatever, and that's it. So, you know. Well, you're lucky, Tim, because you know what? Here, a 4 gigabyte data plan plus 1,000 minutes plus 5,000 texts is probably something like $50 Canadian a month, which would be maybe 35 pounds a month. Oh, that totally, Tim, totally. And well, that is weird, Brian, because it's the same thing on the S7 Edge than on the S7. And I have a friend of mine that got the Edge, and we got really good battery performance. There's something weird. There's really something weird that you don't get more than 3 hours. I mean, look at that. Okay, no, this one is just the S7. The Edge does have a bigger screen, and it does count. But look at that. I have been, okay, I picked it up. It was 100% charge this morning when I woke up at 9 a.m. Okay? And my S7 right now, and I've used it for different things. I went to the grocery store, used it for all sorts of things at the grocery store and okay, 9 a.m. or 3 p.m. my battery right now is 61%. And I did use it. I didn't make any calls. I did a few texts. I did a little bit of internet. And I'm 61%. So it's kind of weird that you get 3 hours. I'm really find it weird. So it's totally crazy here, you know. And no, I don't agree, Mr. Rankin. Your battery should, as much as it can, never drop below 50%. The more you drop your phone's battery low and the less the battery is going to last. You, first of all, plug it in and charge it every time you can. Lithium-ion technology doesn't have memory effect. You just charge it when you can. And the worst thing is to go too low. 30% is way too low. Usually, you know, I never let my phone, I do, of course, from time to time, because you go out and you have no choice and then you run through the battery. But I rarely let my phone go below 50%. And it's been 2 years, and I can tell you my battery is still really good. I think the last time I did a test on it, it said that my battery's performance was still like 81% of its original rating, if not more, 81 or 85%. Which is really good because it's 2 years now, and 2 years for charging, which is not bad. But I don't agree because I think Rankin 30% is too low. Hey, Sean Robinson, nice to have you on board. Here it's really expensive. I have, so to give you guys an idea, on my phone bill is, I've got 20 gigabytes of internet. I've got unlimited data, unlimited text, unlimited calls, and I've got, with the 20 gigabytes of data, I've got what they call 5 1-hour periods during the month that I can activate where the data is not counted. So if I know I'm going to do something with high data usage, I can activate a 1 hour where that data is not counting. So unlimited calls, unlimited text, 20 gigabytes of data. And my phone is subsidized by the carrier, so that means I still have 2 months left paying for the phone, basically, because I paid up front $250 for it. And it cost me, in total, with the taxes that we have here in Canada, $86.75 Canadian, which is about, you know, 70 US dollars a month. Now, if I don't get another phone, I can call them up in what we're getting February, in April, 1st of April. I can call them up. They will keep the same plan I have, but they will lower the price by an amount. But I don't know how much of an amount. But one of the things that that is important to understand is that, there's often been that thing about smartphones, by the way, and I tell everybody, don't don't take too much of the data plans or stuff like that, because I see a lot of people say, oh, I took 6 gigabytes even though it was expensive, and you look at them every month and you're like, well, you're using 1 gigabyte or 1.5 gigabyte, so you're paying way too much for nothing. And I do believe it is better to, just take the amount that you'll be okay with. If you just use 2 gigabytes, just take 2 gigabytes. Don't take 6, and very often what I tell everybody is you are better off going overboard on the gigabytes once a year. It still costs less than paying for the gigabytes you don't use all year long. So, what app did I use to live stream to YouTube? I use the YouTube app on the phone. The YouTube app does live stream. You can live stream directly from your phone with the YouTube app itself. It has live streaming, and basically you can do that. But I've tested a live stream, but I've never live streamed from the app with the phone. What I usually do is pair my phone and my laptop and use my laptop with the camera as if it was on an internet connection, a regular internet connection. So, Sean Robinson says $50 a month, unlimited on his phone. Walkerbot, nice to have you here, says 2 gigabytes a month, never use it because I only use the net at home. So, overpaying is not a good idea for sure. Just wondered if you use something different. Thanks, that's what I used. Yeah, and it works well. Streaming with the YouTube app on the phone is perfect. Works very, very well. It's just that because of what I do, I usually will rather just use the internet connectivity of the phone with the laptop and stream with the laptop in the camera instead. But if I would be somewhere and I need to stream live and I got nothing else than my phone, well, I'll use the YouTube app. Absolutely. I'll be using the YouTube app for sure. So, as we continue a little bit of the news, hey, Kirk Weber. And by the way, guys, I have a meeting tonight with a YouTube guy. And the reason is, just to go quick on it, it's been a year, more than a year, since I received emails from YouTube saying, your Windows channel is it's good enough that we offer free advice to people that have attained a certain level. And it's been a year since, regularly I've received from YouTube Canada an offer saying, look, with your Windows channel, you have access to a certain amount of free advice from us, and all you have to do is, go to the link. They give a link, and on the link it brings you to YouTube's link, and there's a page where you can request to meet up with somebody that will examine your channel give you advice on how to make it bigger, how to make it even more popular. And I had received that several times over the past year and a half. And I was like, yeah, you know, later, maybe later. And about a month ago, I got the email again. And I said, what the heck? I'm going to fill it up, and I'm going to see what's going to happen with that, you know. And I thought it would take like 6 months. And about 2 weeks ago, I got an email from a guy from Google YouTube here in Montreal, and said, look, I've been assigned, if you want to meet up, we can meet up, and we will, you know, discuss your channel and the growth of your channel and everything. So I said, yeah, I'd be interested in that. So I actually have a meeting at Google offices downtown Montreal tonight at 7:30 p.m. with a guy that has an unpronounceable name, and it looks like an kind of Indian name or something. But anyways, I spoke with him on the phone directly, and we are going to meet up, and we're going to look at the channel and see what, you know, what you would. He's going to have all sorts of things that you know, to tell me about how to make things better and everything. So I think it's going to be, you know, just for the fun of it. I was like, well, why not? You know, I mean, this guy probably knows what he's talking about. Let's we'll see what happens. Sorry. Andre Arias, nice to have you here. Ben Laird, nice to have you on board, Ben. So, anyways, we've got that guy. I'm meeting up with that guy at 7:30 p.m. tonight, downtown. So, you know, I think it's going to be nice. Why not? Apparently, they offer this to people that have a certain level. I didn't ask him, but I'm going to ask him, what's the threshold? What is the level of you know, is it on you know, views, or is it on is it on you know, the number of subscribers or anything? I don't know, but I'm just going to ask him by curiosity what threshold triggers that. And it's from what I understand, not the only meeting tonight. It's like I'm having one tonight, and then there's going to be a follow-up meeting. So after tonight, and after viewing, you know, all the stuff about the channel, there's like going to be some other meeting. It's going to be kind of nice, and I think it's going to be cool. So I think, you know, I'm looking forward to that. I think it's going to be fun. Why not? You know, I thought, why not take the opportunity and see, you know, what comes out of it. I got nothing to lose anyway, and I want to try to get to the opportunity also that, okay, now that I have someone, can I get hold of someone that if anything ever happens, I can actually contact directly? Because let's face it, on YouTube, it's impossible to contact anyone. So anyways, I think that's going to be fun, and I think it's going to be cool. Okay, quickly, Apple with its Mac line of computers that will have the Mac, actually Apple's own ARM coprocessors. I think that's a move that's getting close. That, you know, we're learning of Windows 10 on ARM coming up. I think that's also a move that we're learning. Maybe it also means Mac on ARM eventually. Who knows? You know, as the ARM processors get more powerful at some point, if I'd be Intel, I'd start to be a little worried personally. What else do we have? Bye Windows Mobile Phone. It's kind of another confirmation. No more mobile builds for a phone. So I guess it's Windows Phone is gone officially. For those that still have a Windows Phone, by the way, you'll get, you know, they did promise to keep the security updates. So at least you'll have security updates available. but it's just crazy, basically, and it's sad. And of course, we kind of see the we kind of see the side of mobile. I don't know. There's this team. I don't know if you guys seen that, but for those that still have one, there's this team that is working on having Windows RT running on those phones. So, and apparently they're very close to have it working really well. But sad. But it's a platform that's gone. Hey, Fall Careers Update is full availability right now. 75%. We learned that 75%, more than 75%, and now are on Fall Careers Update. And Microsoft saying you can go ahead and download it. So it's like, okay, go ahead and download it. So you can now apparently safely install it, even if you didn't have it with the Windows updates. So, anyways, Fall Careers Update getting there, and we're getting close. It's I started thinking this weekend, and I mean, in 2 days from now, Thursday, we are February 1st, and the next update, the Redstone 4 update for Windows 10, is in March. That's barely more than a month away. So I guess we're getting in the last, the last stretch of Windows 10 for the next update, and it sure shows that it's time's going fast, and that these updates every 6 months is just crazy, totally crazy. And I'll have the Windows Insider Hour a little later, and we'll be looking at some of the new features that kind of interesting. But man, it's just crazy how time flies. Well, Intel's in hot water. We all know that. We all are going crazy over Intel with the Spectre and Meltdown. We're going to talk about it a little bit because it's part of the questions that some people had. And what we learned that's kind of funny is we learned yesterday that Intel told the Chinese government, told tons of people before it actually told the US government. That's kind of a interesting one. The US government also kind of saying, you've known for a long time that there's tons of security flaws, and you kind of just kept quiet. And so they're looking into the way that Intel managed all of that. Intel looks really bad here. And they said it won't be before the end of 2018 that they will have their first processors coming out that are officially fixed without having a update. I mean, this is crazy, and it's crazy. I personally find it crazy because the fix slows down your PC also. This is not, I'm sorry, I would say this is unacceptable. Unacceptable. And I don't know. They're really lucky that there ain't that much competition, because I mean, you almost feel like you want to buy an AMD chip next time on your computer. I mean, come on. Worst thing ever. This is crazy. Hey, Windows 10 Polaris. What's that? Apparently we're getting close to a major overhaul of the availability of Windows 10 operating system. And a very lightweight version of Windows 10 is coming soon. It's codenamed Polaris. It's pretty much what we think is Andromeda. And it's the one core. You know, for a long time, I think we mentioned one core the first day Windows 10 appeared back in 2015. So in July of 2015, when Windows 10, the first version of Windows 10 actually was released, there was this idea that soon we would be on one version for everything, and they had this neat thing saying, hey, phone, tablet, PCs, everything is running the same thing. And here we are 2.5 years later with, I guess, really basically, you know, new thing, except we started to see Windows 10 on ARM and stuff like that. Now finally it seems that that version of one core, being that Windows 10 lightweight version for all devices, is soon to be here. And apparently it's maybe this year. We're gonna check that out. We're gonna see. We're really gonna see. So Adji Kurtaj, nice to have you here, says, well, I guess third competition in the CPU market is healthy. Yeah, why not? There used to be more competition. I mean, not necessarily good competition, but, you know, I remember when Intel had, you know, Cyrix, and Cyrix was bad and cheap, but, you know, it was still some form of competition. And AMD should be more. There should be more. At least one thing about AMD, with the Ryzen CPUs, they're really, really kicking back. They're really coming back in full swing, you know. Hey, Scott Griffin, nice to have you here. And yeah, $1,000 is a huge price for a smartphone. But you know, we don't have to buy the latest model. Honestly, you know what? The S7 that I have here now will be 2 years old in a couple of months. And I think it's the first time, you know, every time I had a smartphone, and for a long time I had an iPhone, I wanted to have a new phone when the contract ended. And one of the big things is, yeah, the phone felt sluggish and the new models seemed better, and I would upgrade. Every 2 years I would upgrade. And basically, now that I have this S7, I don't feel the urge for a new phone. For the first time, I got something that's 2 years old and still so good that I don't see why I should buy another one, at least for now. So it's kind of interesting. It's kind of interesting. Absolutely, research and development is absolutely, it's billions of dollars you gotta invest, and it is totally crazy. Absolutely, Vaults. It's really, really complex thing. You gotta get in there with a lot of cash and a lot of promises, that's for sure. And you know, these big companies, you know, AMD and Intel, are really, really huge. So it's making it impossible to get into the market anyway. And you know, you would have to have some kind of contract with, you know, huge companies like HP or something, and say, look, we're making this CPU if you promise you're going to buy, you know, several millions for your PCs or something. So it would be very, very difficult, absolutely. Yeah, PowerPC chips, but PowerPC weren't compatible with Intel. You know, I'm talking about compatibility stuff. Chips that run x86 code. PowerPC was a different architecture, so it was not. It wasn't compatible. You cannot run Windows in a PowerPC. It was totally different. So and it is crazy, you know. Like Patrick says, 1400 for a 1080 Ti. You know, one of the biggest problems that is crazy right now with the GPU market is the darn cryptocurrency mining. It's creating a need for devices that were strictly for gaming and a few other types of, graphics performance stuff. But honestly, the prices of the graphics cards are totally crazy, and it all has to do with cryptocurrency mining. And the idea that NVIDIA had, where they're actually asking retailers not to sell more than 2 graphics cards per customer to try to, kind of prevent bulk buying, because these cryptocurrency miners, they buy them by the box. I mean, they buy tons of them. It makes the prices really go crazy. And it's sad because, I mean, the gamer is suffering, and anybody that wants to have just a decent graphics card. Now everybody's like looking at high prices, and you're like, whoa, this is crazy. And come on, I mean, for one, I had a gaming machine once, and I can tell you one thing: I don't want to pay $1,000 for my GPU. I'd rather pay less for the GPU and change it regularly than have a $1,000 GPU. So, and you don't get the same bang for the buck today. I mean, they're really way out of price. It's totally crazy. Okay, a few questions to answer. Once again, Meltdown Inspector, the question that I get every day: what's the danger? Okay, we're almost a month into in a week will be about a month since we knew about Meltdown Inspector. We still have yet to find somebody that exploits any of these flaws. We still don't have anyone that exploited these flaws. So, it doesn't mean no one. It means we haven't found any. But it doesn't mean nobody's doing it. There could be a bad guy out there somewhere that's doing it now. But we gotta understand the level of danger correctly. So the worst one was Meltdown, and that one's a fix in the operating system. So in Windows we're fixed, and Meltdown is not a problem. Okay? There's no way, if you have updated your Windows or your Mac operating system, and soon, on phones, Android phones mostly, on the iPhone it's okay. Meltdown, we can forget about it, and it's good because the Meltdown was the worst security flaw. It was the one that's easiest to actually take advantage of. Now, yeah, one of the biggest darn problems with that is that the fix for Meltdown slows down our PCs, especially if you have an older PC. I see a slowdown on my own machine here. I did see immediately a slowdown. But I'll explain a little something, a nice little tool by Steve Gibson here. The second one, which is Spectre, that one is hard to fix. It has to be microcode in your, it has to be either BIOS level or CPU level, and Intel promised 90% of what was done in the past 5 years will be patched at some point. And the biggest problem with Spectre, is because of that microcode. What's happening is that most of us are still vulnerable to it. And that's the bad news. Do we have to go crazy over it? Look, there are other ways right now that the flaws are kind of they're trying to prevent the the exploit from going in, and it's of course the number one place where we'll get the exploit is from the internet. Let's face it, if any of us would be bitten by Meltdown or Spectre security flaw, it would be through the internet for a lot of us. So what's happening is that the browsers have mitigated the way that they address the system in trying to prevent any scripts from being able to exploit the flaw. So it works to a certain point, and it has a certain security effect. It's not 100%. And if you would download code that goes to exploit it, that doesn't do anything. You know, I mean, you can download a package that has a malware in it, and that malware will exploit Spectre. It's really a protection that is, if you are careful on the web, it has a certain amount of protection. So you know, it's kind of crazy here. And what we're waiting, and what I'm waiting, because I will do a series of videos when that happens. What's happening right now? Look, there were bugs with the microcode for the Intel CPUs, so it created all sorts of, you know, reboots. I can't make a video and tell you guys to download and install the microcode right now because it's buggy and it creates problems, and Intel seems to have a hard time creating correct code. So it's just crazy. But if you updated your browser, okay, if you updated your browser, and if you are careful with what you do on the web, it's, you know, safe. It's safe, probably. And like I said, there's still, I have no evidence of somebody doing any exploit right now, which doesn't mean it doesn't happen. There could be some bad guy out there. But of course, the best and the thing we want is a complete fix. And the biggest annoyance with Meltdown and Spectre is the darn slowdown of PCs, which is crazy. Now, on grc.com, Steve Gibson is a well-known security guru. He's got an app called Inspector, and look at the video that I posted. It is a very nice app. It tells you, first of all, if you're still vulnerable to either Meltdown or Spectre or both, but it offers you a very nice little thing. And I had the question asked from someone, why would you ever want to turn off the fixes? A great example of this, when I stream video with my laptop, like on a live show, when the Spectre security flaw and Meltdown security flaw were unknown, I had CPU usage while streaming of about 60 to 70%. Since the Meltdown fix in Windows, my CPU has gone up to 80 to 90%, and it's always in the red when I stream. It had a huge impact. So the reason why the on-off switches are nice in that app is that if you do something that requires power, but you know that it does not create a danger for any exploit, you can temporarily turn off the fixes and you'll regain the speed you lost. Say you're doing some, you know, Photoshop or video editing, and it's slowed down your PC, now it's longer. Well, while you're doing that, you know, and not going on the web or anything, you can temporarily turn that off. There's no danger. Do whatever editing you want, as long as you put it back on when you're finished. At least you can reclaim the speed temporarily before you know, put it back on, basically. So, no, Steve Gibson, I can tell you, Waltz, is one hell of a knowledgeable guy. I can tell you that. Hey, Josh Kinder, nice to have you here. But it's pretty amazing, and the guy knows how to code. I can tell you that. I rather have his opinion about things than many other security experts. You know, there's so many. I don't know if you ever noticed. There's always that security firm that nobody knows about. So you read the news, the tech news, and then you get this. Oh well, ABC security firm is is saying that there's that problem, and I mean, you read it and you're like, never heard of that company before. And if it always kind of, you know, I always jump a little bit, like, I mean, okay, if you tell me McAfee or Kaspersky experts say something, well, I know who they are. But, oh, ABCD Security Inc. has said today that we're all in danger with our phones. Huh. Who's that company? Exactly? And, you know, it's like that news item that somebody picked up somewhere and it made the roll to all of the tech journalists. You're like, ABCD Security Inc. What's that? Never heard that before. And they claim we're all in danger, you know. So, and there's a lot of, you know, of course we got to be careful about all that self-proclaimed experts, you know. There's many self-proclaimed experts that aren't necessarily experts. And, you know, and some people probably have a little more than others on that, for sure. Hey, TOT, nice to have you here. And so, you know, it's one of those things sometimes. So, browsers are the first line of defense right now. And if you're on the Chrome 64 and on the latest browsers, they kind of have that fixed. That for now, we gotta hope that it's enough to stay safe until Intel does something right, and that I'll be able to post a video on how to get the microcode. Because the way the microcode can be downloaded, there are several ways. Of course, your PC maker will have its microcode sent to you probably with some of their updates, but you can also go on the Intel page, spot what CPU you've got, and download a Windows microcode downloader, or actually an app that will actually rewrite the microcode in order to fix the Spectre one. But it's not now. It's not time to do it now, because it's just too buggy. Sorry guys about my coughing, but and finally I've got Tommy, which was totally scared at the fact. First of all, Tommy says hello to everybody. So Tommy says hello. And he has a few questions. So of course his PC is kind of bad, so he's thinking about buying something else. And he was wondering for what. So he told me what he was about to do. Not a lot of stuff, you know, email, internet, you know, games on Pogo.com and stuff like that. And was wondering, you know, what type of PC would do the job to do all of that together and everything. You know. So he's thinking, oh, should I take an i5, an i7, and how old are these? And okay, here's the thing: there are several generations of processors. So what you want to know is not just if you've got a Core i5 or a Core i7 when you buy a PC, but you also want to know what generation of that CPU you've got when you buy a PC. For example, I've seen, I was looking the other day at, you know, those stores that claim they sell tons of really, good deals on PCs. And typically, they were selling like a $500 laptop. And I look at it and it's like, we're in 2018 and that laptop has the same generation i5 CPU than my laptop bought 5 years ago. And that's the biggest problem. Because that's the catch that a lot of stores are trying to push on us. Oh, it's an i5. Yeah, an i5 from when? 7 years ago? Or is it one of the latest models? Or so basically, you want to have the latest versions, if possible, of the CPUs. So if you have something that is 7th generation, is very recent, 8th generation. But if you got something that's it's a Core i7 6th generation, well, that's getting older. So you gotta kind of rely on that information, which is not always easy to find, or very often when you actually look at the ads when you buy a PC, they don't kind of want to tell you. They just want to, well, you've got a Intel Core i7 M706334X. That's powerful. Oh yeah, okay, but that's from when? So what you'll need to do is do a little Googling of, okay, that has an i7, that model, and then you Google it and you check what's the generation. When did that CPU actually happen? So there's a few things like that you got to check out. One thing that I would agree here with Valls is that if you have and I think you're buying a desktop, so why not look at the AMD Ryzen desktops? First of all, you'll know that they are recent because it's been a year since the Ryzen started getting on the market laptop. So check that out. As far as the questions that you're asking, you are not actually doing a lot with your computer, so you don't need that much power. An i5, if you're on the Intel side, an i5 might be more than enough if it's of a recent generation. Of course, if you have the money for it and it's not that much more, jump on the i7, more performance. And you're asking, is 8 gigabytes of RAM enough for what you are doing? Once again, 8 gigabytes is more than enough. If you get 16, go for it. I mean, if you're going to buy something, get the maximum of everything you can get for the price you're capable of paying. But if you do get just 8 gigabytes, you know what? My laptop's 5 years old. It has 8 gigabytes of RAM, and I often look at the RAM usage, and I'm like, I'm not the type of guy that I don't do heavy, intense stuff on my laptop. So it works fine with that. It all depends what you do all the time, and but of course, if you get 16, jump on the 16 gigabytes of RAM. But try to find the most recent. If you're an i5 or an i7, make sure you've got a generation of processor that is, not more than a year or two old. And be careful, because you can get an i5 or an i7 that is 5 years old in the store. And they're going to say, hey, it's an i7. Yeah, but an i7 or an i5 from 5 years ago and from today doesn't perform the same. So, and all the system goes with that, because not just the processor isn't going to perform the same. All the parts around it are also going to be more performant. So you got to know that. But buying, an AMD Ryzen is not a bad idea at all, I'll have to say. Otuti Live, nice to have you here. You know what, Cool Tech? I want a new laptop, and I kind of I've kind of told myself that I'll wait now because of the CPU problems. I started telling myself I'm going to wait, and you know, pretty nice to have you on board. O2T Live, I can tell you that. But, yeah, a Ryzen CPU, it's not a bad idea. I'm seriously considering that also. I can tell you that. Hey, Atawahinta, nice to have you on board. Yeah, still alive. And I'm still alive too after the flu. Totally crazy. Such, you know. So, well, I do have the, okay, well, you know what, O2T Live, I do have, the links is not there, but you can still have it. And the reason why it's not there, by the way, on the build 17083 and 17074 is because they made a change, and I had to reinstall .NET Framework to get my graphics card settings back from the Intel software. So they've changed a lot of things, that's for sure. So you know, just crazy. Just seen a video yesterday that Mobile Tech review a very reliable channel, and she said to wait a while on Ryzen because they have a few. Well, the first Albert, the first one had bugs, but the latest ones are okay. The first ones that came out, yes, they were a little buggy, but they're pretty good now. What else I want to talk today is so I've got the NSA listening on me now because I've got a Google Mini. I finally got a Google Mini, so now I can ask things like, "Okay, Google, what's the weather?" It's not very strong, but I've got a Home Mini, which I've been enjoying a lot and having a lot of fun. So it's really cool. And I got a Chromecast. I went to the computer store. They had all the Google stuff, and I said, okay, well that will make tons of videos, interesting videos. So I took home a Google Mini and a Chromecast. Very happy. Very surprising devices, I gotta say. So okay, NSA. Oh, maybe I've triggered the word now. They're watching me live. So anyways, I'm having a lot of fun with that, and it's fun what you can do. And with the Chromecast, they integrate together, so you know you can do all sorts of things. And I do not actually the Google Assistant on my phone is by default being used now because of the Google Mini, and everything is like going together. But basically what's happening with that is I have been mostly playing with Cortana here, and actually I want to do a Google Assistant versus Cortana thing. But having fun, and when you have a Chromecast too, it actually adds a new dimension. I have to say one thing. It's that the sound quality for that small little thing is amazing. And of course, they were able to lure me into a Google Play Music subscription. Because now I had this device, I could listen to music only if I subscribe to it. So they said, oh, you got 30 days free. So I subscribed for the 30 days free.
Do you want to play on Living Room?
Oh, no. What the hell did I do? I think she wanted to play some music or something. So, okay, Google, volume 80%. Okay, Google, sing a song.
Songs, 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 I love singing songs.
Crazy. I kind of like Cortana better on that one. So anyways, I'm having fun with that, and you know, you can interact. So I got a Chromecast here, so I can say, okay Google, play This Week in Tech on TV.
Sorry, playing
Oops,
Chromecast
I
says
said it wrong.
is not yet supported.
Okay Google, play This Week in Tech on YouTube.
Okay, playing Week in Tech.
And it just does it here automatically. So there's all sorts of little things like that that I love.
You know, I survived 25 years in the
Okay, Google.
area of IT.
Stop video.
And that's, I could have written that for you.
And here we go. So there's all sorts of things like that. It's kind of cool. And if you've got some a surround sound system and everything, if you've got, you know, a home theater system, well, you can even have the music or whatever played on this. So now I, you know, got I got entwined on all of the Google stuff. Just crazy, you know. So you know, anyways. So anyways, you know what? I'm okay with the with the subscription thing, because I was subscribed to Google's not Google's, to Groove Music Pass for a while, and I did enjoy having Groove Music Pass. And when they started screwing up the subscription and things were going bad, I did unsubscribe to the Groove Music Pass. But I liked the fact that I can subscribe to a streaming service and play whatever song I want. So when I took on the occasion of, well, okay, I guess I'll subscribe to the, you know, Google Play Music Pass to stream my stuff. Well, you know, it's going to be a replacement, and so I've been, what, a little more than a week now in my subscription. I actually like it. They have almost everything. I maybe had one song or one album. They told me, oh, we can't play that in Canada, but pretty much everything I asked for I could listen to. And of course, means I can stream on my phone also, do playlists and stuff. One thing that I don't like of the Google Home Mini, but it has to do with the darn country stuff, you know, Canada, US, and whatever. When I plugged in the Google Home Mini first, it thought it was in the US, and I could do tons of things. And I liked it because I could play BBC NewsHour, I could do all sorts of things. And then one day, well, that's 24 hours after I installed it, it finally decided, oh no, we're in Canada here. So now I do things like play the BBC NewsHour, and it says, oh, that's not available in your country. And I'm like, go to hell. So there's a few things like that that I have to say I'm a little mad and pissed off, because it's like, well, it's not available in your country. Shut up. I don't want to hear that. I want to have what I want. I want to hear what I want to hear. And that I hate so much. So much. But anyways, even because of that, it's okay. And I'm sorry, by the way, everybody that was listening, that I triggered your Google stuff. I'm extremely sorry for that. But I actually had a lot of fun with it, and I'm very happy to have purchased. And so it's cool. Like it. And by the way, also, I wanted to mention a change, because I wanted to mention, you know, I still get people asking me, okay, you know, that 1,000 subscriber on YouTube, does it change something for you? No, it doesn't really. Except that my channels that I anyways didn't take care much of, that I have not reached the 1,000 subscriber line, are getting, you know, monetization removed, which will not make much of a difference for me. But I have to say one thing about monetization. I've decided to, and you know, it gave me the opportunity to kind of rethink my strategy of YouTube stuff, because I had a lot of channels with different subjects, but I've decided to gather more different things on certain channels. So for example, you know, the Windows channel here continues to be pretty much what it is right now. The Insider channel will be pretty much Insider stuff. But I have one that is called Easy Computer Fixes. It says what it says. Easy Computer Fixes is whatever computer tech related. It's not specific, and actually on it there's videos on how to fix things with Windows, with Mac PCs, and I started posting Android videos. Instead of having an Android channel, which has not reached, I believe, the 1,000 subscribers, I'll be posting everything mixed up in that channel. You'll have Android stuff, iPhone stuff, Mac stuff, PC stuff, and tech stuff, including Google Mini or Cortana or whatever other technology, you know, phones. It's going to be a mishmash of everything. It's going to be tech related, simply tech related, not to a specific brand of tech, every type of tech. And it actually was popular because of that. For example, a lot of my Mac, you know, for people that think Mac don't have problems, I can tell you, just go see the number of views I got on fix the Wi-Fi problems on a Mac PC. I can tell you something. It has, I think it's one of the most popular videos on that channel. You know, the other one I think is how to fix printer that prints blank pages. So, you know, there's a few adjustments like this. So it means I'll be taking care of a smaller number of channels, but trying to push them at a much higher level of views, basically. So that's a few things that I will be doing. Okay, what else do we have? So yeah, NSA. So Bobby, you got a TVO V115. Have you started playing with it a little bit? Enjoying it? It's a nice, it's a cute little thing for the price. Gregor Dokleja, nice to have you here. When will Android 8 come out to Galaxy S8 phones? You're supposed to have it kind of almost now. It was supposed to be by the end of January. So for an S8, you should have it in the next few weeks. It's almost here. Even for the S7, in the month and a half from now, I think it should be here. Also, MDK2, nice to have you on board. Yeah, feeling better. Still a little cough, but feeling better. So, you know, kind of interesting. What else do we have here? Anything else? Anything else? Just checking quickly if I did not see. Hey, Farney Jr., nice to have you here. Easy Computer Fixes contains one video which advertises your services. Yeah. What do you mean, Vaults? It's like, you know. So, yeah, okay, thanks, Tim. So that one will be a mix of all sorts of things, including Android. So, I actually like Cooltech, the fact that they are all differently oriented. And if they each have their own content separated, I like the fact that there's several channels. I never did like the fact of having only one. Oh, yeah. Well, I don't do tech support anymore, really, so I'm not going to advertise much. It could have been that, though, you know. Call me for tech. If you pay me $1,000, I'll take a plane to anywhere in the United States for cheap and fix your computer tomorrow. So, you know, I prefer having different channels than having one. And they've all achieved, you know, a certain number of views. That's kind of interesting. I was actually surprised because, okay, by the way, for those that have YouTube channels, if you have YouTube channels, you are and you are still using the old way of checking your AdSense through the, because let's go back a little bit. AdSense stopped displaying the major portions of what YouTube information for monetization was, and now there's a way that you can actually go into the content stuff and by another kind of direction. You can have somewhat some information in real time of YouTube channel monetization, which is handy, but is off. It's off by a good 20% in general. Just want to tell everybody that's still using that in the next couple of weeks, AdSense monetization will not show YouTube stats anymore at all. We had a first, they did it first in December. It created a little stir, so they put it back, but now they put it back with a banner and says, look, soon you're not going to have real-time data here. So get yourself, because I got a few people saying, but what I'm going to do, got multiple channels. I got multiple channels. Look, prepare yourself to check the YouTube analytics, okay? Yes, it lacks one major thing that AdSense has, and it's the fact that YouTube analytics is 2 days off. So typically, today we're January 30th. If you look at Google Analytics, you will see your numbers from January 28th. That is sad, and I do think if they had to remove the AdSense real-time data, they could have at least put real-time data in YouTube. That would have been really nice, but it's not going to happen. But, check it out, because I started checking out the YouTube analytics and how much money they are saying you're making. And don't forget, on YouTube analytics, for most of us, the money that is there is in US dollars. After you look at, I looked at my 5 most popular channel, which is the ones that I take care of, and when I take the total that's there and compare it to what I'm getting, it's pretty much that. So those 5 channels are giving me my income every month. So be prepared to check YouTube analytics, and yes, unfortunately, it's not up to date all the time, and that's the sad part of it. But it works, and because AdSense won't display that. AdSense for YouTubers will only be used for one thing, and it's to pay you off. So AdSense will be the only thing giving you money. That's the only thing it's going to be for. It's to give you your money every month. So they're just going to keep that part that's going to say around the 11th of the month or before the 15th, as they say, you'll know how much you're going to get, and on the 21st of every month you'll be issued a payment automatically, and it's the only thing that AdSense is going to be used for YouTubers. The rest, all the analytics, all the numbers are going to be in the YouTube channels. So hey, it's nice. I think it's the first time we reached more than 50 today in the live show. That's kind of nice. And I'll tell you one thing, guys and girls. It's probably due to one thing. Since the beginning of the year, I've been having a lot more views. Since the beginning of January, my average daily views are up like 25%. So I'm wondering if the increase in live viewers is not also matching the increase in views. Simply. Okay, what else is there here? Miss Lady Catherine, Mr. J, I saw a video on how to keep your number lock on in Windows 10, but was afraid to do it because I only trust you. I'll do one. Okay, I'll take note of it. I'll do one tomorrow. Okay, so look at my channel. You'll see it's easy to do. keep the numlock on. It's easy to do. Yeah, I think it's you, Tim, that sent me, hey, there's this guy stealing your content. Because for a while, same content, but I'm trying to, you know, move away from that. I'm trying to really have every place has its own content. So I'm slowly moving the way things are, you know. Tim Brennan, nice to have you here. Card Game Champion, hello there. Yeah, the virtual machine. Well, I know there's a lot of issues, by the way, on the virtual machine in the Insider previews. So, hey guys, I'm going to take a little break. I'm going to take a little break. And what tech YouTubers do I watch? Cool Tech. I don't watch a lot of them, but I enjoy watching, what's his name? Andrew Zarian with What the Tech Show. I kind of like that with Paul Terod. So that guy does that mostly on YouTube. But I don't, as much as on my radio channels, I enjoy watching other radio videos of a lot of people. As a tech guy, I have to say I can't stand watching other tech guys. I don't know if it's just me, but I have a hard time watching anything from another tech guy. For some reason, after about, you know, 2 minutes of watching another tech guy explain something, I get annoyed and I just turn off. So honestly, I don't watch other tech guys on YouTube. I can't, you know. I will sometimes get, because I did a search into a YouTube channel explaining something, and the tech guy will explain something I wanted to have explained a little better. But I will not be watching other tech guys. I don't like that. I get annoyed watching tech guys in general. I don't know if it fits me or what, but I don't think I'm alone on that. I've Fastload, and that is in chat sometimes. I believe that guy also is pretty much like me. We get annoyed watching other tech guys. I don't know why. Cosmic Lettuce, greetings. Nice to have you on board. And pretty cool to have you here. So anyways, take care, everybody. And we will be, hey David Walker, and we will be in the Windows Insider Show in 20 to 23 minutes. So I hope you can join us for that. We'll be taking a look at build 17083. And hope you enjoyed today's show. It was nice to see more viewers in the live show today. And hopefully we can reach, would be fun to reach the level that I reach on the radio channel, where I get more than 100 views quite regularly. That would be nice. And the only other thing that I watch is more to keep in touch with the news stuff, which is you know, the Twit network with Leo Laporte and stuff like that. The Insider Show MDK2 is on the Insider channel. If anybody could, or Tim, can you please post the link to the Insider channel so that people know where to go. So we will be live back in 20 minutes, a little more than 20 minutes, with the Windows Insider Hour coming up on the Insider channel. And hope, thanks Tim. So Tim just posted the link. Check it out. That's where you'll have the next show in 20 minutes. Take care, everybody, and see you a little later for those that will be there. And for those that won't, remember that the other live show I will have this week is the radio show on Friday on the radio channel, the official SWL channel. And you will have a show 2000 hours UTC. I never thought I could talk so much without, you know, I coughed a little bit, but it wasn't too bad. It wasn't too bad. I'm getting better. So take care, everyone. See you in 20 minutes for those that will be there. And it was cool to have a nice 54 viewers at the peak today. See you soon, Insiders. We'll be taking a look at what's new in the latest build. And thanks for being here. There would be no show without you guys being such great fans. Thanks for your support. Thanks for those that have donated to my channel. And see you soon. Bye-bye, everyone. Take care. Oh, Grapple Pearls. Come and join us in the insider place. We'll be able to chat there. So take care, everybody. Stay safe. Love you all.